Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me properly. Forgive me, I think that there was a slight hiccup there, but hopefully you guys can hear me, you guys can see me. Welcome in, everybody. I'm so excited for episode 2 of this week's Adobe Live Game Show. My name is VooDoo Val, and I'm going to be your host for the day. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a good time. Let me get some music going here. I was kind of trying to get everything going properly before the stream and forgot to start it. All right. So, welcome to the game show. As I said, my name is VooDoo Val, and I'm gonna tell you folks a little bit about the game show, about how everything works, about what you can expect. But first of all, if you're over on the YouTube channel, please come over to Behance, because that is where I'm gonna be reading the chat. There are so many people over here ready to hang out and have a party. I see Umacorn, I see Mercurial, Biola, Afroja, Sam Peterson, Juan, Alessandro, Afroja. Welcome in, everybody. I see Becca. Welcome in, Becca. Wade Acuff, Dina. It's good to see all of you folks. Thank you so much for coming to hang out. What's up, Sherry? Your hair. Yeah, I know. You guys know I mean business because my hair is down. It is so long now. It is like crazy long. If you guys remember when my hair was like right here, now it's just like it's pandemic hairdo. So yeah, we're going to be using the keywords that we spun our game wheel for yesterday. Welcome in, Anne. Thank you for joining us. So we have spooky, orange, blues, magic, music, blobs, and stripes. And I just realized just this moment that blues and music could have been going both towards music, like the blues, but I just took it as color. So I don't know that we're using blue. Honestly, it's mostly orange. I think what we ended up using yesterday from our keywords, because we use these keywords to create a project on the fly. We're using spooky, orange, music, and stripes. Those are our words that we've kind of chosen. And we have a project going in Adobe Fresco, and we're going to be animating it today. So I've done a tiny bit of work in between yesterday and today. I just kind of cleaned up some of the illustrations so that we didn't have to spend so much time perfecting that today, because I want to get into kind of animating and making sure everything is complete by the end of the stream. But I'm really pumped for it. I'm gonna pop over and show you folks what we've got going. So let me transition over here to our iPad view. This is our project. So we've got these spooky eyes, and I've kind of cleaned up the edges to make it almost look like, to me, it's like it's a ceramic clay mask sort of thing. And it's like kind of crumbling down, because I remember I painted the eyes and I painted the nose, and I didn't feel like putting in a mouth, and I was like, well, we're not gonna have a mouth, but I was like, we can't just leave it a blank flesh colored canvas that doesn't go anywhere, that just has things missing from it. So I felt like this way it was kind of designed to look like a thing and kind of have a purpose. So we've got our little ceramic face mask, and I've put in some crazy eyes. Some of you folks posted some ideas into the chat yesterday to have the irises and the pupils like different sizes and stuff. And so I've done that. And then one of the things that we decided we would do animation wise is today we're going to make this character blink. So we're going to do like frame animations of a blink cycle. And then we also have this cool stylized idea as far as stripes and music goes, to have like the music lines from like sheet music kind of coming out of that eye over there on the left. And then I would like to animate notes along those lines kind of falling out of the eye off canvas. So that's what we're going to be doing, and I'm pretty stoked about what it's gonna look like. Love the colors she had yesterday. Maybe musical notes from a blues song. I was thinking about actually choosing a song and animating a very specific song. We kind of talked yesterday. I'm a musician. I read sheet music. I play the flute and the saxophone and the piccolo. But I think that's a lot of very specific animation for today, and we have less than an hour to kind of get through everything. So I don't think that I'll do that, even though yesterday we toyed around with the idea of making it the sheet music for the Imperial March, because I'm a Star Wars nerd. You folks know that. But I'm not gonna get that specific with it, because I have an idea for how we are actually going to be animating this, because there's a lot of really cool effects after you use. We're gonna use frame animation today, and we're gonna use the animate on a path feature, and the animate on a path really allows us to add some cool special effects. And I have an idea for how we might animate these notes on our sheet music, and I think you're going to like it. So let's do that first. I've got this one line that I've drawn from like the pupil coming down. I think we're going to do this part first. And what I would like to do is duplicate this so that we have 5 of them, and then some like bordering side lines there. And I'm going to show you how I think it's going to work to animate this, because one of the things too about animation in Fresco is that they've actually, once you get the hang of it, they've actually made this pretty easy to do some intricate stuff. And I've got an idea here. So just stopping in to say hi to my neighbor in SAC. Good to see you, Nada. Welcome in. So excited to see how this turns out. Asia, I'm pumped. I'm excited. And yes, this is Adobe Fresco. This is Adobe's drawing and painting app, and it now has motion as of Adobe Max Week. So we are diving into the motion for it today. So I'm going to quickly, I'm just going to duplicate this line, and I'm going to transform it. And I'm gonna hold my little button here, and I'm gonna drag it over like so. Done. And then I'm going to select multiple, and I'm going to duplicate those layers, and I'm gonna transform those layers, and I am going to, oops, I wanna hold that, and I'm going to move this over here. Boom. And then I'm gonna duplicate one more of these. Let's duplicate this one. Oops, I don't want to select multiple anymore. Duplicate layer. And let's bump this over here. Okay. Now this might work. We might need to move some of the lines. And I am going to work with like a bright red from here on out, just while we start to kind of get our motion in order, because I want to be able to see very clearly what I'm doing, and we'll change the colors of things afterward. Or I had an idea that the note would actually be the pupil from that eye, so maybe we won't. Let me just duplicate. So we've got like these notes kind of coming off the canvas here. I almost wonder if they should be wider apart. Let me select all of them. Select multiple. And I'm gonna zoom in here, because I think that they should be extending from like the edge of the eye if we're gonna have like that. Okay, done. Let's group all of them so they're all together, and we have, it's a little bit wider, and it looks cool. So let's grab this pupil. I'm going to come in here to all these folders I have for the details in the eyes, and I'm going to duplicate this layer. This is our little pupil. And I'm going to bring this up above here. So that is like centered right there on top of the eye. Okay. And I might actually bump these up just a little bit. Let's kind of move those up there. Done. And I'm going to go ahead and merge these, merge layers and group. And I'm just going to clean this up real quick because I don't want that to extend past the borders of those lines that I've put in there. Okay. Now let's see if we can make this look super cool. Let's get these music notes kind of flowing down, almost like tears. We're gonna make, you know, music notes flowing down, and they're gonna follow along these lines. So we've got our pupil. I'm gonna duplicate it one more time because I want there to be the pupil that's over the top of that. And then I want a pupil that we can animate. So let's go ahead and duplicate that layer. We're going to, in the bottom right hand corner, we're going to hit this little button above the ruler that looks like 3 circles and a play button. And we are going to do a path animation. So I'm going to go ahead and click path here. And what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to draw a line that is a path. I'm going to see if I can make this really straight. It's going to be a little awkward maybe, but I'm just going to draw, because basically you can draw a path and then it'll animate whatever is on that layer following the path that you drew. So I'm going to see how straight I can make this. I'm going to be looking really close to my canvas for a little while. Boom. Okay, so we have this one note traveling, right? And we can add more frames so that it's slower, or we can subtract frames and make it a little bit faster. And I don't think we want it that fast. I think we want it someplace in the middle. That looks pretty good to me. Now what I want to do, and this is my theory, if it will give us enough here, is I want to add multiples. Because you can add, if I crank it up, you can add more, like that. So I want to add 5, I think, because there's 5 lines. All right. And then I want to scatter. Let's see if I can. I want to see, I might have to move the lines, but as you can see, I've added a little bit of scattering, and it's it kind of lines up with our lines, so we don't have to do this multiple times. We could just scatter it and spread it out, and it almost lines up. What's up, Odari? It's good to see you. Katarina, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. Ren Hana, it's good to see you, my friend, as always. So I kind of like this. I'm gonna play with this, maybe like 34, 35. That's a little too far on that one side. It's both, Jermaine. It's both. So there are pixel brushes, which is what I usually use. There are vector brushes, so you can draw in vector. And then there's also live brushes that simulate traditional mediums, like watercolor and oil and acrylic and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're actually going to transform our lines. So let's make those a little bit wider, and then let's come back to our animation. Let's turn the scattering. Almost. I think we just need to kind of bump it in. Let's transform. And let's just use our arrow keys to bump it over. Maybe a little tiny bit more. That, I feel like that almost does it. Let's see if we can, let's scatter it to like 33, 34. That's a little too far. So let's do like 36. This is gonna take me a little bit of time to kind of noodle with. But I feel like this is kind of a smart way to go about this. I think the next thing, maybe what needs to happen is, because it's not 100%, so I feel like maybe I haven't lined these up. Maybe I just need to make them thinner, because then not everything has to be 100% perfectly in the center. You know, like the notes don't need to be traveling down the center of it perfectly, as long as the lines are thin enough that it doesn't look too much like they're offset. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna pause that. I'm gonna just grab my eraser and I am going to erase. So let's just draw a line and hold it so it straightens out for us. Let it straighten. Let's play that. Okay, that looks on the side there, that looks like it's pretty close. And I also didn't draw like a perfectly straight line, so some of these are gonna, you know, they're gonna kind of come out. Maybe I need to draw an even straighter line, so I'll do that. But let's see, pause. I'm gonna, well, actually, let's play and see. I think some of these need to be just a little bit closer. So let's take from the outside of this one. I don't think they need to be 100% perfectly the same distance apart, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think that needs to happen. I think this is a very artistic piece and we can get away with making, oh, you know what? Wait a second, we don't have one coming down the middle. Hold on, I'm gonna back up here and not subtract from here. Let me add, I think we need to add one more multiple here. Maybe another one. Or maybe it doesn't matter if there's not one coming down the center, because I didn't notice it. I didn't notice, honestly. So let's mess with the scattering again. That's not too bad. Let's do 31. That might be the move. And it also doesn't have to be right on each line because there are notes in between. So when it comes to sheet music, each of those lines represents a note, but there's also a note in between all of those. So if some of our circles are hovering in the center, that's fine. But the next thing we need to do is we need to make the lines look a little bit more like it's supposed to be sheet music, right? Kareem, welcome in. Still have a community Discord where you can share? Yes, yes, yes. Is Game Show inspired art still to be posted in the Game Show channel of the PS Discord, or has that changed? It's still supposed to be in the Game Show Discord. Kieran says, good idea on the thin lines. I was just thinking that. Okay, I'll still make the lines thin because I do think it was still are still gonna look better. Silly question. Oh, I just read that from Jermaine. Love the animation option. Wish I had an iPad. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's also very convenient. Are these lines meant to be a musical staff looking nice this far? Yes, it is because we have music for our keywords. Oh, and then that's why you said the keywords are sitting there and I totally missed them. Yes, one of our keywords is music today. So let's go ahead and erase anyways. Let's take from the inside. Hold on. Also, I want to point something out that I have activated in my Fresco right now. If you go up to, I think if you go into settings, app settings, input, you can scroll through here and say snap line. So holding at the end of a stroke will create a straight line. So just to kind of demo this, I did not have this turned on before, but I was talking earlier this week with Fabiola, who was on for video editing, and she mentioned it and I realized that I hadn't yet turned it on. So this is what it does. I can draw a line. Let me do this. So if I can draw a line and it's not straight, but if I hold, it will snap into a straight line and then I can actually rotate it around and place it wherever I want, which makes it really easy to do straight lines like this and other things. So that is really quite handy, so definitely check that out if you're interested. I'm gonna make that thin, there we go. I want to make this one thin from the inside. It works, I'm doing it with the eraser right now too, so it's not just the brush. Boom. Boom. And one more time. And then we might change the colors of the lines as well. That one's a little wider than I like. Boom. Okay. Maybe it's still a little too wide. Well, yeah, and I think that they are a little bit far apart. Like I said, they don't necessarily have to be perfect. And I think what I will do is grab my selection tool here and grab these, transform, and then just bump them over so that it's a tiny bit more even. And then let's see what that looks like with our animation. Still looks decent to me. Still looks good. I'm good with this. So we've got music notes coming down, and we do have to, let's see, we got 30 minutes, so we're gonna animate some blinking. I think what we need to do, however, is I think that we need to have these disappear not off canvas, but we just need to have them disappear to the end of the music. So I'm gonna do some little designs that kind of simulate sheet music here. We're gonna make another layer real quick. And I am going to turn the animation off for this layer. I'm gonna select this color, crank up my brush, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold, well, maybe I'm not, hold on. There we go. Okay, I'm going to drag across here until it snaps into a straight line. And I'm gonna cut this off like that. And then I am going to, on a layer above that, grab this gray color that we have, make my brush a little bit smaller, and I'm going to first draw a line across and snap that larger. So we want to make like the end of the music. I'm gonna do another one here because we're gonna color this in and make it a little bit thicker. And then I'm also going to kind of make a little end cap here to the music. So this is like where the song ends, like so. Whatever song it is that it's playing. And then we will, let's add like this, let's make this a little bit wider actually. And this is over the top of the animation page, so the notes should disappear underneath this, which I think will make for a nice effect. And then let's do one more thin line right here. So we have a nice little end cap right there. And technically the treble clef would be up here on this side. Do I remember how to paint a treble clef? Like that? I don't think we're gonna put the treble clef on there. Because otherwise the music, maybe I'm just getting like too crazy, because if I put the treble clef down here, then the music would need to be flowing the opposite direction. Also, fun fact, the swirl in the treble clef actually sits on music, on the sheet music, on the lines. That little swirl part always circles the line that denotes the G note. So it kind of allows you, when you're reading music, when musicians read music, they can, I believe it's G. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's G. So whenever you're reading music, you kind of have that. So and on every single line of the sheet music, that treble clef is in the same spot, and that little loop goes around G, so you always know that that one's G. And then from there, if you kind of lose your place, or maybe you're not super fast at sight reading sheet music, you can always find the other notes if you know what is in order both above and below G. So face design looks so cool. I'm glad you like it, Karine. The more you know. Yes, indeed. So let's turn on our notes again and let's see how this looks. Because it should, there we go. It should disappear. Okay, it does, but some of those on the edge go past that. So what we're gonna do is come over here to this. Let's pause that. Grab our B key. We're going to turn off that because we don't need that. And we're going to select this color and we're gonna just do some scribbles right there so that the notes don't come past that right there. And then when we come back here and we play, let's turn our animation back on. They shouldn't, yeah, so you can't see them. They basically go past that little end cap and disappear, which I think is really cool. All right, so now we need to do blinking, and we've got about 25 minutes, so I have to really get going on this. That part took a little longer than I originally envisioned. But this is how we are going to do this. One thing I want to try real quick, I'm gonna do a quick test. I'm gonna grab like a really vibrant color. This is something that I do often whenever I'm going to do a frame by frame animation, is I will draw shapes in like a bright red color so that I can see it in contrast to my painting, just to plan something out. So the way that I intend to do this is like first frame, let me make my brush a little bit bigger. First frame is going to be just the eyelid, okay? Next frame, let me make sure I have onion skin on. Settings. Is onion skin on? I think it is. Oops. Yeah. Second frame is going to be the same thing. Next frame is going to be like a little bit more, like so. Next frame will be a little more, and it'll close like that. And then all we have to do is duplicate it so that it goes in reverse. So if I come here and say duplicate frame, drag it over here, come to this one, duplicate frame, and we'll drag it over here, and then come back to the first one, duplicate frame, and drag it to the end. I should have like a kind of a repeating thing here. So if I play, I'm missing a little bit of distance from the eyelid to the top, but you can see how you know, this is just a sketch. But what I'd like to see is if I have this layer that has all of those blinking, if I duplicate this layer, I don't know if this is gonna work. I just had this thought before the stream. If I duplicate that layer and then I transform it and I flip it, do I have to flip all of them? Done. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, I think I'm gonna have to flip all of it. Oh, but I don't have to actually exit out. I can just go to each frame and flip it. Flip horizontal. And say done. And then can I transform this entire thing and bring it over here? I think I can. Let me come back into this because I think I transformed something wrong. Let me look through all of these. I think I messed something up in one of these. I must have left something behind. What did I do? Oh, they're all over there. So when I transformed and brought it over, huh. Interesting. I thought maybe I could flip it, and I think I can, but I think it's going to be a little more complicated than that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer. But that's something to think about. Like if I could just animate one of the lids blinking, that would be great. So let's do this real quick. I'm going to do this as speedy as I can, and it might not be 100% clean, but we're going to go for it. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to grab my brush. I think I'm going to use this soft pastel. No, hard pastel. I'm going to crank up my size. That looks good. And I'm going to start with this. I'm going to also, just for my own sake, I'm going to make a new layer right here. I'm going to grab this skin tone and I'm going to fill the layer. And then I'm going to turn it on a lower opacity, just because I want there to be like a fade. I'm not going to keep that there. I just want to be able to see only the eyelid, and then just keep an eye in the background on my, you know, my painting, and watch how I'm painting these lids. So let's actually I'm going to use the sampled brush, no, the Express ink brush first, because I want to make sure I paint this dark part of the lash properly. So let's, actually, we need a dark color. This color, I think. Boom. So there's the lash. That's the first layer. Now let's duplicate. No, do we want to duplicate? No. Let's make a new layer. And the lash is going to start to creep down. And then we need to add some of the color of the eyelid here, I think. Boom. And then next, let's grab our dark color again. Let's move our lash down. And let's get that lid color. Throw that in there. I've got the onion skin on, so it might look a little bit strange. And then another one, and let's grab our dark color, and let's move. This lash is gonna start kind of going just across, I think. And let's grab our lid color. I don't know that we're gonna make this look perfect before the end of the stream, but you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And then lash color. And lid color. And another one, lash color. And lid color. And I think one more. So let's grab our lash color one last time and close that lid and grab our lid color and fill that in. And then we're gonna, the moment of truth, we're gonna see if this looks like garbage or not. This is something, frame by frame animation does take a little bit of noodling. And we do have a limited amount of time. So, you know, you might have to use your imaginations on this portion, but I don't think it's gonna be a nightmare. I might have to change some of the colors that I've used and everything, but I think that it's going to look cool. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate these. So because we've got a progression of the lid from open to close, and now we have to duplicate everything except this last closed lid and put it on the other side here in reverse, because it closes, but we also need it to go back and open. So let's duplicate frame and drag that. And then let's duplicate the 5th frame and drag that. And let's duplicate the 4th frame and drag that. And let's duplicate, let's see, the 3rd frame and drag that. Let's duplicate the 2nd frame and drag that. And let's duplicate the 1st frame and drag that. So now, if you look, we have a frame from open to close to open again. And I've got my onion skin on, so it's kind of hard to visualize. but you can kind of see it, like this eye blinking here. How much time do we have? Maybe 15 minutes. So maybe just enough time to kind of duplicate this for the other eye. And I'll have to put some time to, like, you know, clean it up after stream, but at least we'll have the blinking and our music notes and everything in one piece. So let me turn onion skin off. And let's see if this is a nightmare. That's not horrible. That is not horrible at all. It needs some work, but that is a solid blink. That is a solid blink. I like it. One thing, I'm gonna have to change the color because I realized that I sampled the color with this on, so let me turn that off. And let's see if this is, I mean, it's still not bad. I'm gonna have to change the colors a little bit, but we've got a blink in there. Now let's see if I can put a little, because we've got 15 minutes, I'm going to put a little bit more time into trying to work my theory in here. So if I duplicate this whole layer, duplicate layer, and I'm going to try it this time without my animation panel open, because I think maybe with the animation panel open it was thinking I wanted to duplicate or just flip that one. So let me try to do this. Done. Oh, I think it did it. Oh my gosh. I just had to turn the animation panel off so that Fresco didn't think I was trying to only edit that one layer of that one frame. With the panel off, I'm just transforming that entire layer with all of the frames combined in it. So when I moved it around, it moved every frame together. So if we play, way to go! That looks so cool. Okay, so now what do we need in order to make this look really truly decent? So first of all, I've kind of got, well, I don't think I called attention to this when I did it, but I did this blink cycle on top of everything because I wanted the eyelids to close over the top of the musical notes and the musical staff, so that the path animation wasn't like playing over the top of the eyelid. So it's really important to make sure that you're layering things properly so you don't have weird stuff. Just like I made the decision to kind of clean up that area down at the bottom of the staff so that the notes kind of disappear at the end of the music and they don't just fall off the page. You could still have things fall off the page if you wanted to. That would be really cool. I don't think it works for this piece in general, so I made that decision. But the next thing I'm gonna do is I'll probably delete the duplicate lid that I made, because I think that we need to detail these eyelids. Like I need to paint them up and make them look like they go with the rest of the painting, and then I can just duplicate it again and clean it up. So what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna pause this, we're gonna delete, we've got about 10 minutes left. I wonder if I can do this in 10 minutes. We're gonna delete that layer, we don't need that yet. I'm also gonna come on here and I'm gonna delete frames. So delete frame. Everything after 7 is getting deleted because they're duplicates as well. So I don't need to be painting all of these up twice. I only need to paint them once, and the painting once, it just needs to be what's over here. And I have onion skin off, so now I can see everything. So I'm going to leave this first one as is, and I'm going to come over here to this one, and I am going to grab my brush. I'm going to switch to this hard pastel, and I'm going to blend here on this layer. We gotta detail it. It needs to be blended in. Boom. Second one. Let's do it again. Keeping an eye on the clock. It's gonna be a little bit patchy because I'm doing this quick and I'm not making it 100% identical to the layer before it. If I wanted to, I could just be duplicating all of these and moving the eyelid down as I go, so it's the same painting as the lid closes. We can do that. I might do that later. But I want to kind of blend this in so that we have like a finished product in the next 5 minutes. I hope I can do this. I'm working fast. These are the fastest eyelids I've ever painted. We still have to do all the duplication. I'm sorry if I'm I realized I also went like dead silent because I'm just trying to like get these in here. It's gonna need, I don't think I'm gonna avoid not having to do more work after the stream on it just to make it look clean. But we'll get, you know, we'll get some more detailed lids in here at least before I take off. Okay, I don't think that one was as pretty as it could have been, but it's okay. Yeah, they're gonna need more work because as I progress through here and do more of the lid, I'm realizing how inconsistent it's probably gonna be from lid to lid, you know? But that's okay. Okay, good enough for me. We're gonna duplicate and drag. We got 6 minutes. think I duplicated the same one twice. Okay. Yeah, it needs some, it's gonna need some love. It's got a weird stutter in there somewhere. Let me look at this closely. It's just the way that I painted the new ones. But that's okay, it's a little more detailed. We have 4 minutes left, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this again. I'll walk you through it. So I turn off the layer, off the panel for animation, because that allows me to transform this layer as the layer, and not just transform the frame attached to that layer. And then we will duplicate layer, we will transform, we will flip, and I will hold my little button here and I'm gonna drag this over and line that up with my eyelashes. Say done, and let's play that. Let's see what that looks like. So what I would do here is I would clean it up, so because it's got a weird little stutter to it. So I would clean it up, I would make everything look a little more like it belongs, and then I would go into each layer and add some eyelashes. I didn't add eyelashes as I was doing this. I think I mentioned yesterday that adding eyelashes for like a blink cycle is really, really annoying. So I add them after. This is not the first blink cycle I've done. I think I have maybe in these last few, oh no, I can't. I just realized I can't show you stuff because I'm on my iPad. Actually, wait, I did in the Spooks project on Behance. I can just switch over to my Cintiq capture. I have a blinking animation that I did a long time ago where I learned the hard way that I need to put lashes in later. Because I ended up just like bumping it down. Let me pull this up. Okay, put this right here. And I should be able to pop over. Yeah, so this is in the Spooks. And so what I ended up doing, because painting the eyelashes was such a pain, to make it blink, is that I just ended up not even painting eyelashes every time. I just like squashed the eyelashes, and I don't know that this made like a really good blink cycle at this point. I was just like really stressed out about this blink. So I did it, but I was like trying not to do that. So I did the blinking this time sans eyelashes, and we'll put the eyelashes in later. But I think we have excuse me, I think we have a really good start. So we'll clean this up. I'm gonna put like shine that appears on the top of the eyelids as the lids close. Throw in some eyelashes. I think I'll probably put shadows underneath the notes as they travel down the face. And what that will most likely mean is that I duplicate the layer of the scattered pupils that we animated to be the notes, and use a adjustment layer to make it darker, and then turn the layer on a lower opacity. Maybe we can do that real quick. I've got like a minute and a half. Let's see if I can do that. Let's grab this. Let's pause. Let's duplicate that layer. Let's bring this over here. Let's put a layer adjustment, hue and saturation. Let's make it darker, and let's clip that. So it's like that. And let's turn this layer opacity down, and I'm gonna transfer this over and down. Done. And let's play. Do we have, does it not do that? Maybe I turned the opacity down a little too much. I might need to move it a little bit more. I think it's too close, actually. But you get the idea of what I'm going for. Maybe I can move it down. Oh, there we go. There we go. Crank the opacity up. I don't know. It's not working, so I'm gonna figure that out. But you can see what the deal is, what I'm going for. But that's gonna be it for today. I do have to take off because I don't want to get cut off, but thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute blast. I can't wait to explore Fresco motion a little bit more, and I hope that you folks do too. And I will see you next week, because next week I'm gonna be on Draw This in Your Style with Cody Bear. So I hope you folks will catch that. And yeah, until next time, everybody, happy designing, stay kind, stay safe, and I'll talk to you folks later. Bye-bye. Explore Fresco.